हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू द क्लास। चलिए पढ़ते हैं। क्या था लास्ट टॉपिक? नरसिम्हा राव. See what was happening during the time of Narasimha Rao. It was that the world, the the India was like getting more integrated with the world. Okay, at that time, you're coming for the first time. Okay, what's your name? Dia. You never joined online also. Have you watched the previous lectures? Watched all the lectures. Okay, all right. आइए आइए, वहां बैठो. मुझे लगा था कि आज आप लोग बहुत कम आओगे क्योंकि आज बारिश हो रही है. हाँ, बट यू ऑल मेड टू इट. तो देखो, actually what was happening during the time of PV Narasimha Rao, the world was getting more India was getting more integrated with the world, and Indian economy was deliberately trying to liberalize itself, because I already told you there was a foreign exchange reserve crisis, and because of that crisis, what happened? Because of that crisis, India actually was like, well, fell short of its foreign exchange reserve. Even it was not having the desired norms for meeting the requirement of all the oil imports that we were doing at that time. All right. So basically, to get rid of that, what we did, we basically followed the policy of LPG reform: liberalization, privatization, and globalization. All right. So during that time, our policy, our foreign policy, was also directed towards meeting these challenges only. And the background was that during this time, the VP Singh government just fall, and there was the rise of this Congress government. All right, it was a coalition, that was UPA, United Progressive Alliance. So just write the background of the foreign policy under PV Narasimha Rao. Just write the background of it. All right. So here, write after the decline of the Congress dominance, because India saw the Congress dominance under Jawaharlal Nehru, then under Indira Gandhi. Okay, so this was the time of the like decline of the Congress dominance and the rise of the coalition politics. Okay, and one more specific feature of coalition politics is that in coalition politics, the central government loses its dominant character. Here what happens, because the government at the center is formed with the support of the regional parties, so they have to take into consideration the needs and requirements of the regional parties. Okay, they cannot take the decisions on their own. All right. So kya likha abhi? Congress dominance that we witnessed under Nehru and Indira, comma, government of VP Singh and others came to power. And later on, PV Narasimha Rao, जगह है, ये ले लो, है. Later on, PV Narasimha Rao became the Prime Minister of India in 1991. In 1991. Now see, there were the challenges on two fronts. All right. The one very important challenge was at the global level. What was the challenge at global level? See, at the global level in 1991 only, we saw disintegration of USSR. Okay, now USSR disintegrated into its 15 republics, and basically this time was a very critical time for India, because I already taught you under all the prime ministers from Nehru to basically PV Narasimha Rao, we had a tilt towards USSR. We had a very good friendship with USSR. Even in 1971, we signed a peace treaty friendship agreement, peace agreement. The name of the treaty was basically Peace Friendship Treaty of India USSR in 1971. All right. After signing that treaty at the global level, it was proved that India have a official tilt towards USSR. Now that big USSR, the big economy, big supplier to India, basically disintegrated. Now that USSR itself started facing the crisis. Now the direct impact was to be on India. Obviously, it's very obvious. All right. Yes, one positive thing also happened with India, that the successor of USSR, that was Russia, it continued the same type of relations with India that earlier we enjoyed with USSR, and also the Central Asian republics, okay, that basically got disintegrated from USSR. With India, we started having normal ties. All right, they were not at all a threat to India, and we started having a normal ties, a good relations with those countries also. All right, and here in the western side, Latvia, Lithuania, Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, okay, so with these countries also we are having sort of good relations. All right, so no problem with USSR and its successors. All right, so this was a crisis. Now the main challenge of our foreign policy was basically how to adjust with this development. This was a very big development at the global level. Now how to adjust our foreign policy with this particular disintegration of USSR, this was the first very big challenge in front of the foreign policy under PV Narasimha Rao. Another challenge was that we had a very big payment of balance crisis. All right, we imported a lot. For that import, we paid in US dollar. Okay, but now basically we were left with very less reserve. Okay, because we were not exporting. When we export something, in return of that we get US dollar. All right, that is basically taken to RBI. RBI keeps it at reserve and in turn gives the Indian currency to them. All right, we were not exporting. Okay, since we were not exporting, we were not integrated with the global economy, we were lacking of the US reserve. And US reserve at that time was the most widely accepted currency in term for the payment of our imports. All right, now we were not having the currency for basically conducting our import, so that was a payment of balance crisis that happened in India. So these were the two major challenges that PV Narasimha Rao faced. All right, so just write what were the major challenges faced by PV Narasimha Rao. So write the first A, that was the global challenge. Okay, now in global challenge, right? In 1991, the world witnessed the end of Cold War. In 1991, the world witnessed the end of the Cold War. Hello. Witnessed the end of the Cold War and subsequently the disintegration of USSR. Full stop, right? The result of this was the end of the result of this was the end of the bipolar world order. The end of the bipolar world order and the beginning of the unipolar world, which was dominated by USA. Now it was true also that the world is now going to be dominated by USA. and our history and our track record showed this thing very well, that we were not having good relations with USA, and now every second organization that was going to be formed was to be dominated by USA. Now how to adjust with this? All right, the counter to the influence of USA to India was USSR. Now USSR disintegrated, was grappling with its own challenges. Now how to basically tackle with this situation? All right, so this was the global situation that India witnessed when PV Narasimha Rao came to power. All right, now second, right, it was the A point. All right, the global challenge. All right, now write the domestic situation. What was the domestic situation? Now, during this time, India faced a severe economic crisis. During this time, India faced a severe economic crisis. All right, this was a time of a very big economic crisis that was about to come. All right, or basically already came. All right, and there was a balance of payment crisis in India, and there was a balance of payment crisis in India. India witnessed a balance of BOP crisis, often referred to as, okay. And to adjust, or basically, and to overcome, right, and to overcome these challenges, there was an urgent need for economic reforms. There was an urgent need for economic reforms, urgent need for economic reforms, and to integrate Indian economy with the world economy. Okay, you are asking how and why USSR disintegrated. Vishnu is asking that. That's a topic of world history, but still, because you asked, I would like to tell you that. See, the USSR was basically formed after the Bolshevik Revolution of 1970. Okay. Now, it was true that USSR was on paper the group of 15 same republics, all right. But in reality, Russia used to exercise a lot of influence over the other republics of USSR. All right, the economy was highly dominated by Russia, and it was not a homogeneous group. In the southern region of USSR, there lived Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan. Here in the western side, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Latvia, Lithuania, Georgia, Belarus, so many other republics. Now they were having their own distinct identity. They were having their own nationalistic sentiments. They were not at all a Russian. They are not having the Russian identity. They had their distinct set of identity. Now a time came when basically the USSR, which was organized on the Soviet model, on the socialist model, it felt very way behind USA. And it was in the 1917 Bolshevik Revolution, it was promised to the people of USSR that we will be way ahead of USA because we are implementing the socialist system. Now the result of implementation of the socialist system was backwardness. It went way back than USA. So this was the major reason. Economic crisis was a very big reason. All right. And the another reason was the rise in the nationalistic sentiments in the other republics in USSR, due to which one leader Gorbachev came, and Gorbachev started the policy of glasnost and perestroika. By the policy of glasnost and perestroika, whatever basically protests were happening in the other republics in USSR, it basically loosened the control over those protests. It allowed those protests. It started economic reforms. It started maintaining again its ties with USA. So it started the economic reform, the result of which was the disintegration of USSR. All right, this was just a overview of why it disintegrated. All right. Now, what was the last point? World economy. All right. So this was the major challenge, and therefore India needed, right, and therefore India needed a completely new foreign policy approach. ठीक है, because it was the requirement of the time. Completely new foreign policy approach. See, we have came through a long way from Nehru. Okay, from Nehru, under him the policy was idealism. All right, so the policy under Nehru, it was idealistic policy. All right, then under Shastri and then under Indira it became assertive pragmatism. But yes, it basically diverted and now it became pragmatic. But now the need was a bit different. Now the need was not just to make it pragmatic, but now the need was that from pragmatism they need to basically go to, I would say, pragmatism plus economic diplomacy. That would be the right word. Okay, now only pragmatism will not suffice. By being just military preparedness, by just conducting nuclear test, or basically by just being real politic, by basically increasing modernization, nothing will happen. Now the time is basically for conducting economic diplomacy. Now the global integration must be there. Now we need to loosen the control on the foreign investments. We need to give space to the private players, because see, it was always stated truly by Adam Smith that there are the two invisible hands in the economy of supply and supply and demand. And when the things will not be adjusted according to demand and supply, things will not work right. All right, in the Wealth of Nation written in 1776, Adam Smith has rightly pointed out these things. All right, so now we need to integrate with the world. All right, so I would say that now it was stated that the time is basically that we need to adjust the pragmatic credentials of India's foreign policy along with the diplomatic or economic diplomacy. The correct word would be economic diplomacy. Okay, diplomatically we need to basically profess for economic integration. Diplomatic angle must have been economic now. All right, so it was the need that pragmatism must be balanced with economic diplomacy. All right, and the why there was a need for a very different foreign policy approach, this I told you, because of the global situation, because of the, and one very important situation in the intro only I made you write that the Congress dominance was weakening. It was that now the Congress party was not that strong as it earlier used to be. Okay, even under Rajiv Gandhi it was very strong. Okay, yes, there was a setback to the Congress party after the proclamation of emergency, after which the Janata Party government came. But after that, now Janata Party again fall, and now it was again a rise of the Congress Party. And Congress Party again was very basically dominant at the center. All right. So now it was a need for complete change in the foreign policy due to these three reasons. One, weakening of the Congress dominance. Another one was the disintegration of the USSR and the basically unipolar establishment of a unipolar world. And the third reason was just stated what? Yes, because it was balance of payment crisis which India witnessed. All right, chalo, likho. Right. So now, what was the nature of Rao's foreign policy? 2-4 मिनट लेट जल्दी आया करो, हमेशा 2 मिनट लेट होते हो. ठीक है, 2 मिनट घर से जल्दी निकलो. कहाँ से आते हो? अरे भाई दोस्त देखो, कहती है हम जानते नहीं है इनको. हाँ, कहा है कि नहीं तुमने? बताओ, तुमने कहा है कि नहीं? हाँ देखो, उसने कहा है कि हम तो जानते ही नहीं है इनको. मैंने पूछा था उनसे कि कहाँ रह गई आपकी दोस्त, बोली मैं तो जानती नहीं, मेरी दोस्त है ही नहीं है. चलो लिखो. नहीं, लड़ाई करवा रहा हूँ मैं. what was the nature of Rao's foreign policy? ठीक है, तो देखो, there was a shift from pragmatism to, right, there was a shift from pragmatism to economic diplomacy, economic diplomacy, ठीक है. So now the shift was from pragmatism to economic diplomacy. Okay, so the thing is, right now the focus shifted from ideology to economy and development. So pragmatism is also ideology, na? From ideology to economy and development. Under Rao, it was made clear that the foreign policy must support economic reforms. Okay, the foreign policy must support economic reforms. Understood? So foreign policy must be organized in such a way that it supports the economic reforms. Now, right, what were the key features of Rao's foreign policy? Like the first point that I already told you, what were the key features of Rao's foreign policy? आज और कौन नहीं आया है? एक मुस्कान नहीं आई है ना? और बाकी सब आए हैं. So the first thing that is basically, you know, that economic liberalization was there in the foreign policy of Rao. Okay, so right, 1991 reforms were introduced during this time that opened Indian economy. Please do come in. Come here. Take this and sit. What time did you write? 1991 opened the Indian economy and encouraged the foreign investment in India. And encouraged foreign investment in India. So how it was done? What were the tools of it? The tools for doing this were make this trade, investing more, investment, and gradually more focusing on technology. Okay, more focusing on technology. You're able to see the board? Trade, investment, and technology. So these were the tools of doing this. You know one thing, PV Narasimha Rao was the only non-Gandhian, or I would say this, who was not belonging to this Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi kinship. Otherwise, all the leaders in the Congress are from this family only. Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, Robert Vadra from this same line, but he was the only prime minister under the Congress leadership who was not from Gandhi family. Morarji Desai. So he was a Manmohan Singh. वो अच्छा देखो, see now this thing is also true. For him we can say, but he was for नहीं, उनका मतलब कुछ उतना रूल नहीं था, ठीक है, major dominant phase, but he was himself accidental prime minister, uh, just a phase, but he basically did everything whatever he can. Okay, but Manmohan Singh did anything himself. Okay, he was just an accidental prime minister because Sonia Gandhi herself couldn't be the prime minister. That's why. Okay, why she couldn't be the prime minister? Yes, because Indians would have opposed her, na? Because how can we allow a non-Indian to be the prime minister of our country? All right, so that's why. Even there are news that when he died, so his body was not taken to the Congress office. These types of news are also there. I am not verifying the credential of this news, but a lot of time I have heard this thing from the mouth of the leaders. So yeah. Now this was the major thing. All right. So the tools for doing this was to increase the trade. When we will export things, only then we will get the reserve. All right. Now the major reason which is not discussed in Indian foreign policy in IR, but that is discussed in economy. Okay, when we talk about LPG policy, it was that we went to IMF and World Bank for getting loans. Okay, in US dollar. Now they put a condition on us, that was SAP. Okay, structural adjustment program, which was that India will have to basically carry out LPG reforms. All right, after that only we will be. So they, what they did, they basically sanctioned India a fund, and now the funds in installment were coming. First installment was coming. After that, India will have to follow a policy, will have to bring out a policy, then only the another basically fund will be disbursed. Okay, so that was the condition that was imposed on India, after which we integrated with the world economy. And that is the main reason why today even the clothes we are wearing, even the footwears we are wearing, even the gadgets we are using, we don't know from where they have came, because India during this time only integrated with the world economy. So that's why, by the help of trade, investment, and technology, okay, we integrated with the world economy. All right. So now write another. So this was the first point, right? Now write another point. Now see, India lost a very big friend. Okay, now the major challenge was to how to rebuild our global relationships. All right. So at that time, now this was a very difficult thing, because we cannot go close to USA because it was already very close to Pakistan. All right, we cannot go close to that USA, है ना? And now if we basically try to go close to USA, then it will basically only benefit USA, because since a very long time we were basically saying that no, we can never come close to USA. Now it was not the right time to go close to USA, so it was how to rebuild our global relationships. So that was a major challenge during that time. All right, so right, next point, India. So yeah, ऐसे लिखो, after disintegration of USSR, India lost a India lost the Soviet support. Okay, India lost the Soviet support. All right, and also right, and therefore India needed to rebuild the global relationships. India needed to rebuild global relationships. All right. So now what we did, we now adopted a multi approach. Now, because see, there was a growing reliance on USSR. We were being more like dependent on USSR. All right. That's why what we chose is Now what we will do is we will maintain tie, not with just one country. All right. And that was very obvious, no? Because now there is only one power, unipolar world. That was just USA. Counter to USA was no country. All right. And at that time, these regional organizations were not at all formed. Like, and even if any single was formed, that was not strong. Like BRICS, BIMSTEC, SARC, ASEAN, these were not there. So what we chose was a reorientation of our ties with multiple countries. All right. So just write this. Now India adopted a multi-directional diplomacy. Now India adopted a multi-directional diplomacy by which we strengthened our relations. We strengthened our relations with USA, comma Russia, comma China, and Central Asia. And India witnessed a shift from alignment to multi-alignment. Now, dilemma came to India. All right. So, this war happened, Gulf War happened. All right. So, in 1990 to 91, there was a Gulf War. Okay. Now, you are able to understand. Your expressions are not changing. Why so? You are focusing. Others are not. See what she is telling to all of you. I'm very good at this. Thank you. So now listen. Change expression. But by changing expression, I get to know whether you all are understanding or not. Okay. Now see, like her. Please do. So what happens is now Gulf War came. All right. अंदर आके देखो ना. अंदर आके देखो. अच्छा. तो देखो now Gulf War happened. All right. During this Gulf War, what happened? Iraq invaded Kuwait. All right. Iraq invaded Kuwait. Now the dilemma was, it went to UN. All right. Now Iraq invaded Kuwait, and the dilemma for India was that we were a friend to Iraq. We were a friend to Iraq. US invaded militarily in this. Okay. Now what to do? We cannot support Iraq. Obviously, we cannot support Iraq because at the world level, that will basically diminish our that India always had this credential that we are fighting against this imperialism, this system, that system. Now we cannot support Iraq. Whatever friendship we had, we still cannot support Iraq. What we did is this resolution basically, now UN adopted a resolution against Iraq. All right. But what India did, India supported this resolution against Iraq. So in turn, it was a dilemma for India, obviously, that what to do. We cannot openly support it. Now, because of this, all this issue, all this Gulf crisis, India suffered an energy crisis. The situation that we are witnessing right now, even worse situation than this, because at that time, today, we are having a huge strategic reserve. We are having huge strategic reserve, but at that time there were no strategic reserves as such. All right. that time though, yes, but one more thing was that India was not that dependent on energy, because today the world is working on energy, moving on energy. Okay, but yes, at that time the cooking was majorly done on this firewood and cow dung only, but still other things, electricity and all, was basically produced by energy, and that was affected. All right, so India suffered a energy crisis during that time also. Okay, put a heading. Next point. Okay, there happened a Gulf War in 1990 to 91, in which Iraq invaded Kuwait. Okay, Iraq invaded Kuwait. Okay, Iraq invaded Kuwait. Now, right, US intervened. Yeah, US intervened militarily. US intervened militarily. Okay. Now, full stop, right? During this time, India faced a dilemma. It was that Iraq was friendly to India. Iraq was friendly to India, but due to several reasons, India supported a UN resolution against Iraq. Okay. And India hence took a balanced and cautious position. Now, in this point only, right? So now it impacted our supply, all the energy supply. Okay, so this war impacted the oil supply of India, and economic crisis in India worsened. और इस Gulf War में ही we got to understand that energy security is a very big thing. All right. At that time only we started diversifying our supply chain. Okay. So, like the Strait of Hormuz, have you heard about that? Huh? That Strait of Hormuz? Do you know India also have a Strait of Hormuz? You know this? What happens? Just like the entire world's a huge amount of energy is basically transported from that small strait, है ना? Similar Gulf of Malacca is there in India, and 80% of China's export and import goes from that, and that is with India. Same thing is there with India also. When we will be at some point of time, for God's sake, there must be no war. But if at any point of time there is a need to fight war with China, the major attack will be first on that strait. ठीक है, ऐसा है. So now we understood, and that was a time when India felt the necessity of diversifying its energy supply and to basically strengthen the ties with the West Asian countries. All right. So now, right, a question. Describe about India's relations with major powers during Rao's time. Describe about India's relations with the major powers during this time. Okay, so during this time, how were we basically maintaining the ties with the major powers? So now we basically the strain that was there with India, between India and US ties, so we normalized that thing. Okay, and also because US saw India as a large market. Because see, this is a time of industrialization, and during this time, the major determinant of the ties is the economy. We already shifted from basically the pragmatism to economic diplomacy. And because US saw Indian market as a very big market for its exports to be sold in India, that was major reason. And India also wanted some sort of good relations, because we need to accept the reality. Yes, this is a unipolar world and we have to basically maintain ties with it. So India's ties with USA got eased, all right. It improved. Okay, like the first point, there were certain developments, right? Just write one first point, because there will be 2 points only, one with USA and another one with the US or Russia now. Okay, what I made you write? क्या बोला मैंने अभी? हाँ, there were certain developments in India. उसको जेब में रख लो, गिर जाएगा वहां से वो. कवर बचा लेगा. ठीक है. Certain developments in India and US ties. We improved our engagements. We improved our engagements. And USA started seeing India as a major emerging market. Now see, USA during this time wanted India to do one thing, to basically roll back our which we 100% denied. We can't. Okay, we cannot roll back our nuclear program. All right, we were stringent on this thing, and even in 98 we conducted our Pokhran 2. All right, one major reason was that US was very close to Pakistan. US was very close to Pakistan. Now, this tie was a irritant to this tie. The coming closer of USA and Pakistan was a irritant in. So what we did, we decided, so India decided to dehyperize. separate their ties and separate our ties. ठीक है? Got it? Right. There was a very big challenge in this. No, don't write next point. Just write one point only. One paragraph will be there. Right. There was a major challenge to this because USA demanded the rollback of India's nuclear program. Because USA demanded the rollback of India's nuclear program. The speed is right. This is good, na? Huh? Written? Okay. Which India certainly denied. And followed a policy of de-hyphenization and followed a policy of de-hyphenization with regards to India and Pakistani relations. India and Pakistan relations. ठीक है. Now, you know that now the ties with Soviet. So in 1991, the Soviet Union collapsed. Earlier to that, we had a agreement of 1971. Now, because it collapsed, now the terms of the treaty has to be changed. So the revision of this we signed in 1993. So this 1993 agreement was again signed between now India and Russia. All right. This was a revision to the basically earlier existing treaty. All right. Just write. World witnessed the collapse of. And you know one thing, there was a major, what was the major basis of India and USSR relations? That was a defense supply. That was defense. We were the largest purchaser, importer of. ठीक है. Even today also. ठीक है. But and even they are reliable weapons. Okay, Barata, SMGs, AK-47, even today BrahMos, and everything is basically because of India, USSR, and Russia ties. Okay. So क्या लिखा है? The world witnessed the collapse of USSR in 1991, and now this led to uncertainty of India's defense supplies. This led to uncertainty of India's defense supplies. Clear? So because our defense supplies were less, and hence India signed a revised agreement with Russia in 1993. This was a revision of 1971 agreement. Okay, this was a revision of 1971 treaty. And it restored our relations with Russia. See, we will be studying about when we will be going on to the denuclearization program. We will be studying NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, CTBT, PTBT, Complete Test Ban Treaty, Partial Test Ban Treaty. Okay, so these are some treaties. Okay, but just to give you information, there was a treaty that was CTBT. Okay, that was a Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. Okay, now USA pushed a lot to India to sign this treaty, but we denied. Okay, because we did not want it to be a part of a very unequal treaty, because that gave compensation to the P5 countries. Okay, USA, Russia, now Russia, earlier USSR, France, Britain, China. So it gave some relaxations to them, but not to India. Why to sign such unequal treaty? Okay, so now if CTBT, if complete test ban, if you really want denuclearization or basically reducing your nuclear weapon, then give a timeline, give a fixed time frame, and give a process how you will do it. So no country is basically willing to do that. Okay, so why to be a part of such unfair treaty? All right, so just write this. There was a nuclear policy challenge also. USA pushed India for CTBT, bracket right, comprehensive test ban treaty, but India refused to sign this unequal treaty, and thus maintained its strategic autonomy of decision making. Now there were three major things also that happened. एक तो था in 1992 Babri Masjid demolition happened. Okay, 93 when Mumbai terror blast also happened, and this was the time when Pakistan openly threatened India with their nuclear weapon. Okay, these were some challenges, but not very important for your foreign policy perspective. I just told you, so no need to write that. Okay, but yes, Babri Masjid demolition was a very big thing, because that basically gave a very wrong image of India to the world. Okay, so that was not a good thing that happened in India. Okay, uh, not because basically it was whether it was a Muslim structure or a Hindu structure. Not this, that was not the reason. That wasn't the reason behind tarnishing of India's image. That was because the the police, the army, the paramilitary that failed to basically protect a structure. Okay, that was disputed. Okay, yes, that is right. Obviously, Supreme Court had stated, and it has rightly allowed the construction of Ram Temple, because that was rightfully the Hindus had the rightful ownership of that. But this demolition was also to be done by judiciary, you know, because everything should be done by legal way. All right, the rightful ownership was obviously Ram Janmabhoomi only, you know. So these things are there. Now this policy is also very significant. Now a very important doctrine is also asked sometime from this. That's IK Gujral, okay, and Gujral doctrine. All right. So just to tell you a brief intro about what was Gujral doctrine. He he now see the stature of India was rising. Okay, and India started portraying itself or basically being accepted in Asia as a net security provider. See, in the Indian Ocean, we have a very long coastline, and in the entire South Asian and Asian region, in the entire region, at least with our neighbors, we are a very big power. Okay, we are a very big power with regards to them. Now, see, any one of you are the elder one in your family? Huh? Many of you are, yeah, elder one. Okay, You also. It is always taught na, be responsible. हाँ, distribute your sweets, distribute everything. नहीं, अरे शैतान है तो शैतान तो छोटे होते हैं, आप कैसे हो? ठीक है, बट सिखाया जाता है, इट इज टॉट, ठीक है, छोटे भाई है बहन है, तब तो फिर तुम्हें नहीं लेना चाहिए, हाँ चलो, सी नो, सेम अप्लाइंग द सेम कॉन्सेप्ट at the international level also. If you really have to be a responsible, a bigger power, then you also have some responsibilities, and those responsibilities are, if you get 2 chocolates, give one to your little sibling, even give some portion from yours also. Okay, yes, that's true. Okay, that was the IK Gujarat doctrine, that if you have to emerge as a responsible partner, responsible, bigger power, okay, hegemony in your area, then please don't expect anything from your neighbors, at least when you give them something. Okay, that's a very important thing. Just right. Foreign policy of IK Gujarat. Foreign policy of IK Gujarat. Okay. So very short period of time. Right, IK Gujarat became the Prime Minister of India in 1997. लिखो. अच्छा, ये तो पता ही है, इसलिए लिख रहे थे. हाँ हाँ, सुनो मेरी बात. रुको एक सेकेंड, इधर देखो पहले. मुझे लगा आप समझा रहे हो तो नहीं लिख रहा. देखो, झूठ नहीं, ठीक है, बस झूठ नहीं, जो बोलता हूँ उसको लिखा करो, ठीक है. तो हमें तो सब पता है, क्या आईआर आईआर पढ़ा रहे हो यार, ये सब आता है हमें तो, है. तो राइट, एंड नाउ इनके 97 when तो समझा रहा था, कट when वर्ड, ओनली आई के गुजराल लिखे. Sometimes what happens is, when I become very curious to just explain you the thing, in between only I start explaining. So now see, his tenure is a don't write, his tenure is a remarkable tenure in terms of shaping our neighborhood policy. All right, so just write, his tenure was short but highly important, highly significant. His tenure was short but highly significant in shaping our neighborhood policy. And he introduced a new approach known as Gujarat Doctrine. थोड़े generous बनो, be a little bit generous, be responsible. Are you all responsible? हाँ, see, now just saying, अभी तो बोल रहे थे कि हम मैं देती नहीं हूँ चॉकलेट या कुछ, अभी बोल रहे मैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल हूँ, फिर रिस्पॉन्सिबल हुए आप? आर यू ऑल रिस्पॉन्सिबल? सही में हो तुम रिस्पॉन्सिबल? तभी जो बताते हैं वो लिखते नहीं हो. Huh? And generous or generous? What is generous? What is generous? दानवी, generous to give, नहीं? क्यों भाई? No, it's good to be non-generous also. Don't give anyone, no problem. Okay. Now the thing is, these two elements got introduced. तुम गलत आदमी के साथ बैठ गए हो. गलत आदमी तुम्हारे दोस्त है कि नहीं? नहीं है जनरस बिल्कुल ना. कोई नहीं, ठीक है. So these elements got introduced in our foreign policy, right, during his time. So right, the basic principle of this doctrine is that India is a dominant power in South Asia. That India is a dominant power in South Asia, and therefore India is a dominant power in South Asia, and therefore must behave with responsibility and generosity. Responsibility and generosity. Right? See, the basis of this doctrine was the principle of spelling reciprocity. Reciprocity. Okay. So we will not expect any reciprocal relationship. Yesterday I gave you a bread of my sandwich. Today you must give me your chocolate. Huh? होता था ना in childhood we used to do this. Yesterday I brought Maggie. Okay, you ate my half Maggie. No, please don't do give your tiffin to me. All right. So ये तो बचपन में बहुत है ना. So we will not be expecting any reciprocity. All right. Right. Next point. The main, yeah, the most important feature. Right. अरे वाह. You stopped at the right place. The most important feature. Why you stopped? But
you want to change it.
How?
I just knew it.
Nice calculation. This is called a strategic calculation and calculative step. This is again a calculated point. Calculated point, right? From Kerala. 100% literacy, sir. 100%. Isn't this true? This is true. You should be proud of it. See, literacy means you're asking that, no? See, what is this, yaar? No, what happens? What you told? You know what is meaning of literacy? Literacy means to know how to read and write. Okay. But both are dependent. It's not like, see, the major problem comes when there is no ground level literacy and the children are basically expected to be educated. The problem comes at that time. See, what happens is the groundwork of education is led in literacy only. That's very true, because See, when you are expecting that your child must learn this and that concept and particular subject, the environment to that child is provided by literacy, and that is there. Okay, and my observation was also calculated because I have many known from Kerala, many people who are basically there, living there, okay, and from belonging to that place. That's why I know. Okay, so chalo, calculations are over now. No more calculative step. Okay. So the concept was the reciprocity. Now, what I made you write? Feature of the the Gujarat doctrine was the concept of the Gujarat doctrine was the concept of non-reciprocity. RECIPROCITY. Reciprocity. All right. According to this, India should not expect return from smaller neighbors. Okay. India should give more and expect less. India should give more and expect less. All right. If neighbor takes one step, India must move 10 steps. Write such lines in your answer. You need pen? Take this. No, use this for now. Time waste. Continue. Again, she will say some point and if neighbor moves one step, India must move 10 steps. All right. And the objective of this policy, objective of this doctrine, right? Objective of this doctrine was to build trust. Objective of this doctrine was to build trust, goodwill, and a stable neighborhood. Clear? So the objective was this, right? Why famously quoted term of economics, poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere, right? So stable neighborhood will make India strong. Okay. So now one, like, write a heading: key features of Gujarat's foreign policy. Similar points are there. Okay, so we will write it quickly. Okay, so the first point, right? During this time, the major focus of India was on South Asian countries. Was on South Asian countries. In bracket, you can write neighborhood first approach. In next point, just write this, that economy diplomacy started by Narasimha continued. Okay, the policy that was started by Narasimha even continued during this time also. Three things are there. Now just see what happened. There were strains in India-Bangladesh relations. Okay, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was assassinated. Okay, and after that there were strains, and what Gujral did, because he emphasized more on dialogues in the neighborhood and basically to lessen the restraints in the relations, he started dialogue. And even because, see, in Indian West Bengal, okay, why is West Bengal west? Because that lies in the eastern part of India. I see. Don't say that. West Bengal. No, no, no. No, no, no. Don't say that. What is this? गलत बात. देखो इधर. अरे भैया बस छोड़ दो तुम लोग. ये क्या बात बोल रहे हैं? वेस्ट बोलने में भी जो है खराब लगता है. खराब नहीं लग रहा है बोलने में. This is a thing of even before partition. Okay, so before partition, the Bengal comprised of present day Bangladesh, present day West Bengal, Assam, okay, and many other small parts of other places also. All right, that was a very big territory, very big. So this was now partition of India. Now coming on to partition of India happened on the principle of religious majorities. All right, and because of which what happened, this the portion in the eastern part of India which was dominated by Muslims was to like go to Pakistan, to become East Pakistan. All right, so then Bengal got partition. Okay, and the eastern part of Bengal went to and western part of Bengal remained with India. That's why West Bengal. All right, so Paschim Bengal. Paschim means west. Okay, so now the identity of entire region was, now why I told you this, because identity of this entire Bengal, even today the most, like I would say, the similar identity is there of the Indian Bengalis and Bangladeshi Bengalis, because Bengali lineage is there, Bengali similarity is there. So that was the main reason why IK Gujral, in starting again the maintaining again the restoring the ties with Bangladesh, what IK Gujral did, IK Gujral even involved that time Chief Minister of West Bengal, Jyoti Basu. So he involved her also. Her नहीं, हर तो क्या है, लड़की है ना. ठीक है, English is not that good, sorry. So involved him also. All right, so that was the very unique, I would say, feature of India's foreign policy, because it is rarely observed that a prime minister would like to engage any chief minister in conducting its foreign affairs. Okay, so that thing was done, and the achievement was that ultimately after, I would say, 30 or like how many, I don't exactly remember the year, so after even 2-3 decades, the Ganga water sharing treaty was signed. Okay, so that was a major achievement under IK Gujral. Okay, I will not make you write this, because the reason is that we will be discussing the India-Bangladesh relations. All right, even what happened, you remember I told you in the time of Rajiv Gandhi, the crisis of Sri Lanka happened. All right. After which, by the Jayavardhane Pact, Rajiv Jayavardhane Pact, so India sent Indian peacekeeping forces there in Sri Lanka. So, due to which India's relations with Sri Lanka were strengthened or strained because it was seen as India's invasion in the sovereignty of Sri Lanka. And the resultantly LTT basically attacked Rajiv Gandhi and assassinated Rajiv Gandhi while he was basically conducting a rally in Sri Perambadur. All right, so Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated. After which there were so many strains in India-Sri Lanka relations. So even I.K. Gujral tried to release that pressure and tried to again reshape some sort of relations. All right, to maintain some relations. All right. So this was done at that time there, and even one development was less spoken development is there, but not that important. But yes, one development was there with Pakistan also. With Pakistan, there were going on several verbal attacks. That was a time of huge verbal attacks, and those relations, he tried to basically reshape the relation, the result of which those verbal attacks got lessened. All right, so this also happened, and even the Nawaz Sharif came there, and there were revival of ties with Nawaz Sharif, and basically some covert operations basically got reduced. All right, so this happened. A bit of good things also happened during this time. All right, with Pakistan, and basically with China during his time, the Chinese president Jiang Zemin. Okay, so Jiang Zemin, he visited India. All right, so during this time only, and basically agreement were signed for maintaining peace and tranquility on borders. All right, so some agreements were signed. Yes, exactly, on ground there was less effect of that. Okay, but still some developments were there. All right, so and basically which country is left uh, in major power? Yes, one USA is left. So USA again tried to pressurize India to sign the CTBT. India again basically refused signing CTBT and NPT. All right, so India refused that, and India during his time properly in a detailed manner shared India's concern why India is not signing the treaty. All right, so in a long letter format, India shared its concerns. Okay, why we are reluctant on signing this treaty. We want, it's not that India don't want basically denuclearization. India supports denuclearization, but still we want first thing a non-discriminatory treaty. A treaty must not discriminate between the powers, one side P5 countries and on another side rest of the world. This is a discrimination, okay, a large level of discrimination that we don't want to happen. All right, so India shared its concern. Yes, the diplomacy was based on building trust in South Asia, strengthening our partnership with our neighbors, non-reciprocity, and everything that I made you right. All right, so now there were limitations of this Gujarat's foreign policy, and that was that neighbor did not always responded properly to this. Okay, they were not always positive with regards to this. Pakistan issue is still remained unresolved. Okay, yes, there are certain developments I told you, but still no impact of that development on our relations exactly. Yes, some reduction of covert operations was there, but still there was no major development. All right, um, so and also one major thing is that his tenure was a very short tenure. Okay, and whatever he could have done in that very short tenure he did. All right, so overall assessment is that it was innovative. Okay, it was innovative, just like USA carries out its foreign policy on the basis of certain doctrines. India also got its own doctrine with regards to its neighbors. All right, so now coming on to the foreign policy of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Okay. So after the fall of the Gujarat government, he became the Prime Minister of India. Okay, and he majorly transformed India's foreign policy approach. All right. So it was a blend of what? Obviously, in the foreign policy, the major element is diplomacy, but to carry out diplomacy with strength. A angle of strength got added during his time. All right. So now India will be assertive on its security. India will portray its nuclear power, India will portray its military strength, and we will be basically carrying out the foreign policy with the angle of strength added to it. All right. So, and also Pokhran 2 nuclear test got conducted, okay, despite of the opposition of entire West. Okay, so India conducted its Pokhran test by Operation Shakti. Okay, so it was conducted on 11th to 12th or 13th, 11th to 13th May. Okay, and after exactly 20 days, 18, 19 days, okay, Pakistan conducted this nuclear test. All right. So it was basically, and the reason that was basically given was basically that we face a major threat from China. Okay, it was an official statement that was given by India. Okay, and this also, this was not just a test of nuclear weapon, it was also a test for hydrogen bomb. Okay, we basically made a hydrogen bomb also, so our hydrogen bomb capability also developed during his time. And now see, when Pokhran 1 was conducted, at that time India did not officially declared its status to be of a basically nuclear weapon state. Why? Because we just stated that we will be basically conducting this nuclear proliferation for peaceful purposes. No bomb will be basically made out of this technology in India, but now we officially declared our status as a nuclear weapon state, and also the proper proliferation of the nuclear weapon and the development of the nuclear bombs got started now. All right. So this was the major thing, right? This, right? After the fall of Gujarat government, Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the prime minister. And his tenure is marked as a major transformation in India's foreign policy. Both things were there. Strength on basically so we were assertive on our security, but we were very flexible in terms of diplomacy. All right. So right, foreign policy under Vajpayee was a blend of strength and diplomacy. India started being assertive in the matters of security and remained to be flexible in diplomacy. And remained to be flexible in diplomacy. थके नहीं अभी तक आप लोग? नहीं थक गए? कौन कौन है जो थक गया है? थक गए तुम? हाँ, एग्जॉस्टेड? I I really become very happy when the students feel so exhausted because that shows that they are struggling hard. They're not exhausted. Okay. कितने घंटे पढ़ रहे हो अभी आजकल? How many hours you are giving to self study? 6. हाँ, 2-3 घंटे पढ़ लेते हो ना डेली? 2 to 3 hours daily consistently. 3 hours consistently giving ना? कब देना एग्जाम? When to appear? 7 all? 8. This year anyone? No. Okay. Prepare well. I always tell you and already told you, it's a cycle, it's a long cycle. Don't stretch it too high, but don't keep it too low. Okay, time will fly. Just stick to the books consistently for at least at minimum 3 hours. Class time is separate, okay, other than that. And also always try to give at minimum half an hour for newspaper. Every other thing, see, in the market there are loads of material for current affair. Okay, my personal advice would be ki don't try to extract every minimal news from the newspaper, but the only and the major important thing in the newspaper for UPSC aspirant is the editorial. See, what editorial in the long run do, it shapes you, it shapes your thinking. By reading the editorial, you are not, for example, there is a very veteran leader who has already been the ambassador to China, who had been there for 36 years of service for in Indian foreign services. All right, now if you are reading his article, you are trying to think like that person who has already been in the system. Okay, your views are being shaped by that. So you can, if you don't have much time, everyone must read newspaper, all the relevant news, but if you don't have much time, at minimum read the editorial, at minimum, right? So minimum to minimum editorial must be read. Okay, so now what was the last thing? Yes. Okay, and the approach was strong defense with peaceful engagement. Strong defense with peaceful engagement. So just put a heading and we will leave then. The heading must be आपका Pokhran 2 nuclear test 1998. Pokhran, P-O-K-H-R-A-N. Okay. 98. This we will be doing in the next class, and in the next class, even if it takes extra 10 minutes or 15 minutes, we'll be taking that, but we'll be concluding the evolution of the foreign policy, and then we will be moving on to India-China relations. Okay, so first India-China, then Nepal, then Bhutan, then Pakistan, then US, Russia, like this. Okay, so we'll be moving forward. All right, and increase your writing speed. धीरे नहीं काम चलता है, ठीक है? So okay, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है? Why? Any problem? No. And why were you not attending the previous lectures?
Because like, after